From the Detroit Free Press, it's Wednesday, October 23rd. Here are today's top stories.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Eric D. Lawrence. An ex-UAW official, who was an aide to former UAW Vice President and GM board member Joe Ashton, has become the 10th person to plead guilty in the UAW corruption probe. Jeff Petrzik pleaded guilty in federal court Tuesday in Ann Arbor to 2 counts involving conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. Prosecutors say he took $123,000 for himself in a kickback and bribe conspiracy involving millions of dollars in watch and jacket contracts. He apologized outside of court when asked about the ongoing GM strike. Petrzik, who is to be sentenced in March, was co-director of the UAW GM Center for Human Resources, which will close if workers approve the current tentative agreement.
From the Detroit Free Press, this is John Gallagher reporting that, yes, Detroit remains a factory town after all these years. The automotive sector may be smaller today than in Detroit's glory days, but industrial property remains a huge part of Metro Detroit's real estate game. Southeast Michigan boasts a vast and varied amount of industrial space. It includes factories like the new Jeep plant going up in Detroit. It also counts Amazon's growing list of fulfillment warehouses around town, not to mention a lot of new high-tech research parks. Demand for industrial space is so great in the Detroit area that vacancy rates are near zero and more new space is getting built all the time. So yes, when it comes to Detroit real estate, industry is the once and future king.
I'm Susan Tompor, and I write a column for the Detroit Free Press. We know that fraudsters may use skimming devices at the local ATM or gas pump. Now, the FBI is warning about a little talked-about scheme involving digital skimming, or e-skimmers. Crime rings, many based in Eastern Europe, have figured out how to steal your credit card or debit card information when you shop online. The FBI says any business accepting online payments on their website is at risk of an e-skimming attack. Shoppers can't exactly spot the trouble at the checkout page, but you can take some precautions, such as don't use a debit card when shopping online. Perhaps use Apple Pay or PayPal. You may use a credit card, but check your statements to see if there's any problems. All some things to consider as the holiday shopping season begins.
I'm John Wisely at the Detroit Free Press. How much time should elementary school students get to eat lunch? One local mom wants more. Kids typically have a 20-minute lunch period, but in that time, they must walk to the lunchroom, wash their hands, and stand in the lunch line. When they finally get the food, they may have less than 10 minutes to eat it. Nutrition experts say that's bad. They recommend more time as well. Angela Peters of Commerce Township has petitioned Walled Lake Schools to extend the lunch period. Her petition has garnered more than 2,600 signatures. The schools haven't promised anything yet, but the superintendent called Peters this week and agreed to work with her.
This is Chris Solari from the Detroit Free Press reporting from East Lansing, Michigan, where the number 1 Michigan State basketball team was dealt a significant injury blow 2 weeks before the season begins. Senior guard Joshua Langford was ruled out indefinitely with a stress reaction in his left foot. He will be reevaluated in January, according to Coach Tom Izzo. Langford played in 13 games last season before being sidelined with a similar injury, which required surgery in February and forced him to miss 2/3 of the Spartans' season as they went to the Final Four. Langford averaged 15 points last season. He told me that he will not seek a redshirt season. For more, read freepress.com.
Do you like what you're hearing in our news briefing? Let us know, whether it's a question, comment, or something you just want to hear. You can share your opinion by emailing us at voice@freep.com. That's voice@freep.com. See you tomorrow.